All right, Kiss Army. You wanted the best? You got the best. Now close your eyes. You're about to be podcasted.
And with that music, you know you're listening to your podcast. Welcome once again. I'm Ken Mills, and we are joined today by one of our hosts, Mr. Bill Starkey, the president and founder of the Kiss Army.
Wow.
The real Bill Starkey. How did you wind up here?
I don't know. We've known each other for a few years. I enjoyed your program. Listen to it when I can. And it's just a thrill to be here.
Very cool. Wonderful. I got some really bad news for you.
What's that?
I read on a message board yesterday that the Kiss Army died. Rest in peace, the Kiss Army.
Wow.
Did you know that the Kiss Army died?
News to me. I mean, since it kind of came out of my basement, maybe if I'd even wonder to think that it's possible that the Kiss Army might even outlive Kiss, almost like a cockroach.
I'm sure that it will, like a cockroach, as Gene would say.
How would Gene say that?
Gene would say, the Kiss Army will outlive us all like a cockroach. So there you go.
Very good, Gene.
Yeah, he always says cockroach. So
right.
It's that New York in him. You can't take it out.
Yeah, he must have seen a lot of them or something.
Yeah, probably. But people around Facebook and Kiss message boards are getting freaked out and making a big deal out of the fact that Kiss will not be playing at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony.
Right.
And it all started with a little recap. We're going to play a clip. Ace Frehley called into Eddie Trunk's show from Las Vegas and mentioned that Ace and Pete would not be playing with Kiss. Here's that clip now.
The platform is yours. What's going on?
Oh, the news. Well, I don't think Kiss fans are going to be too excited and happy about the news, because at this juncture, Paul and Gene have decided to perform with Tommy and Eric, and it looks like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame are going along with it, and I won't be performing at this juncture, the way things are at this point right now.
When was this news relayed to you, Ace?
Just the last 24 to 48 hours, it was kind of up in the air, and then, But the main reason I wanted to come on your show was because, like as you said, the last time I was on, it was a very exciting and happy call.
And so a lot of people got really upset, and they were flipped out. And the message boards went nuts, as Kiss fans tend to do. Have you noticed that, Bill, that we're an excitable bunch?
Yeah, and that's what we're going to address is that how are you going to please everybody anyway?
You can't.
I mean, I saw, it was funny, somebody posted something this morning about burning their Kiss Army membership card. Looks like back to your draft card days, back to the Vietnam War, and I had to laugh, and I thought, it's amazing how upset this group, the Kiss Army, gets. I mean, I wasn't expecting a lot. I mean, the questions like, what would they play? How would they sound? All those things come into play, and it's impossible for you to hit every one of those targets exactly right and make everybody happy.
Now, let's be fair. When the thing was originally announced that they were not only considered but were going to be inducted, Gene tweeted and spoke about how he would love to play with Ace and Pete again, and Paul said that he called Pete and congratulated him, and who knows what happened between now and then, but we know that over the last few weeks, Paul has been saying a lot of things and tweeting a lot of things that he just does not care for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I'm going to play a couple clips right now. Here's one from the House of Blues.
So now they tell us this year we're getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And we say it's about fucking time and big fucking deal. We knew that you always felt we were in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so who needs them? They're coming our party.
And here's one from a recent interview where he discusses a bunch of really cool things. You guys should look for this on YouTube. But Paul talks about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So here we go.
I think you'd have to ask other people, but I'm proud that we never kissed anybody's ass to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and that the criteria that kept us out is now the criteria that's gotten us in. So there's been somewhat of a changing of the guard there, but there's some gross inconsistencies, and a lot of people using their taste and opinions to suppress what the public thinks. So I think at some point it just became absurd that we weren't there, and they had no choice but to let us in. So our invitation came 14 years late, but you know, I'm certainly in good company. There are people there I scratch my head about being inducted, but you know, when you look in a room and you see Jeff Beck and Rod Stewart and the Stones and the Who and the Beatles, Zeppelin, good company.
So here we are. You've got people burning Live to Win album covers. You've got people, well, actually CD covers, albums. But, you know, I'm an old guy, Bill. You know.
Yeah, I'm older.
Well, God bless
you. I've never burned any of my stuff, and you look at all the ups and downs the Kiss fans have had.
If I ever burned any Kiss merchandise, that meant that the party was a little too wild.
Yeah, truly.
You know, so
I kind of commend Paul for what he said. I put that on my Facebook page because out of a lot of the stuff that's been said about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I thought it I thought it was a pretty cool just way of, you know, now that we're in, he said the way he actually felt about it, which was the way they felt before, and he's spot on about all that stuff. I mean, it's just ridiculous that it's lasted this long, and I really truly believe they just did it because we fans bitched enough about it that they thought, well, let's go ahead and do it. It really didn't matter to them, I don't believe, and you know, like I said, if they would have played together, I mean, I don't know about you, but I've seen enough of those Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremonies, and I never really cared for that part when all the people that were inducted got together and played in a band, and then they decided whose song were they going to play and all that. I just never cared for that. And in some ways, I kind of cringed thinking, well, if Kiss did that, how would it work? Who would they sound like? Or who would they play and all that? So maybe in some ways this was a blessing. I don't know. I mean, the main thing is they got in. They got in because enough people complained, and the people that were in charge of it basically had to come to their senses and decide that, you know, enough's enough.
Plus, it's also good for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame from a marketing standpoint. They can now say, look, we're fair, and we also now you can buy Kiss Rock and Roll Hall of Fame shirts at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah.
So they're basically wanting in on the merchandise. Let's be honest.
I think there should even be a Kiss Army display in there because
that would make sense.
Because I think that goes right along with the band, and it's something that's unique with the band, and I think there should be some kind of blurb. I don't know. Should I donate my plaque or something to them? I don't know.
No, you donate that to me. Don't.
Well, but see, if it's in the Hall of Fame, then I know that it will always be there.
Right.
It will always be in good care, and fans can see it long after I'm gone and hear the story about how it happened and how a kid in the Midwest was.
Well, listen, you know, before this is all done, a Rock and Brews is going to be set up to have a Kiss museum. You know that. It's just a matter of time. So there will be a Kiss Hall of Fame. You know that. They'll have their own version.
That'd be great.
Speaking of Hall of Fame, let's get back to, here's a statement from Kiss released today. To all of our fans in regards to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Out of respect, Ace and Peter's recent statements demand a quick response to you, our fans. Our intention was to celebrate the entire history of Kiss and give credit to all members, including longtime present members, Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer, and additionally, Bruce Kulick and Eric Carr, all who have made this band what it is, regardless of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's point of view. Although Kiss has moved forward far longer without them, Ace and Peter are at the very foundation of what we have built, and this would be implausible had they not been part of it in the beginning. It is over 13 years since the original lineup has played together in makeup, and we believe the memory of those times would not be enhanced. Contrary to claims made through the media, we have never refused to play with Ace and Peter. We have spent 40 years dedicated to building KISS without quitting or wavering, as the band has moved forward with huge tours and platinum albums through different important lineups for 40 years to this day. KISS has always been a band unlike any other. That is why we started KISS. That is why we continue KISS. Being unlike other bands also means making choices and decisions unlike other bands. It is understandably an emotional situation where there is no way to please everyone. To bring this to a quick end, we have decided not to play in any lineup, and we will focus our attention on celebrating our induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We are excited and looking forward to seeing you all on the KISS 40th Anniversary Worldwide Tour. So let's take a look at a few things that are there and what's not there. First things that aren't there are Mark St. John and Vinnie Vincent. They seem to get bounced out of that letter.
Yeah, well, and that's something that the band, I mean, that is their decision. I mean, I'm not going to say whether that's right or wrong. I mean, you know, fans know that they had something to do with the band. Of course they did.
But Paul and Gene must consider those two more out of the other members to be brothers in arms, if you will.
Well, and who knows? Because, you know, if Ace and Peter are included, and God only knows they've had their problems. Can you imagine? I don't know what it would be, but obviously there's some reason for it, for their exclusion, because you know, they've fought before with Ace and Peter, and yet they're included. So
exactly.
You know, I don't know. That part of it never really bothered me either. I mean, I know for some reason I just didn't think that that Bruce and Eric Carr and Tommy and all, for some reason I just didn't think that the Hall was going to let them in anyway. I just think it was strictly the four original members, and that's it. And when they're calling the shots like that, what are you going to do? I mean, and I agree, it's not a good idea when, like you said, the Grateful Dead had 30 people, and there were other people in Metallica and the Red Hot Chili Peppers who necessarily didn't have as big a contributions to their acts, and yet they were inducted as well. I don't know. I don't know what that criteria is, and that goes along with what Paul said. You know, I don't understand the criteria either.
Well, KISS fans are thinking that this is going to be a really bad event, that the bad blood is just going to run all over the podium, but it's not. When Van Halen were inducted in the Hall of Fame, the only two people to show up were Michael Anthony, who was no longer in the band, and Sammy Hagar, and so that was kind of bizarre. And when Blondie got inducted, two of the members of Blondie were basically told that they could not perform with the current Blondie lineup. So, and once again, when Creedence Clearwater Revival were inducted, John Fogerty refused to play with his brother and the other guy that was in the band that was still alive, because of what had happened. John Fogerty's brother had sided with their manager, and they wound up taking all of John Fogerty's publishing away. So they actually made it so that John Fogerty could not, for a time, play his own songs that he had written live. Yeah. So this is not the weirdest situation the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has seen as far as dinner.
No, and that's why I really wasn't too excited about it. I mean, the possibilities of Ace and Peter, because like I said, there was just too many other questions as to, you know, how they would sound, who they would play with, what they would play, how it would come off. I was just happy that they were in, and that issue was finally settled, and then just go on from there. I don't know. I put on my Facebook page, I even offered to be a mediator. You know, they can all come over here to
talk about that.
Yeah, and it was mainly my reaction to how upset the fans were. And I just said, well, you know, guys, let's do this. I mean, they're all four invited over to my house for Tombstone pizzas and Diet Cokes. You know, I would like to hear all four sides, but it probably goes deeper than that. There's probably the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it's not just between those four members. So maybe they were painted into a corner and they just decided, okay, then let's just not play at all. If we can't do it a certain way, then just let's not do it. But yeah, that was mainly my reaction to the way the fans were just going crazy, like, burning CDs, Live to Win CD covers, and calling Gene and Paul stuff without knowing what's really going on here. I don't remember the Kiss fans being this devout to Peter and Ace back in the 80s when they weren't in the band, or
no, because we weren't.
Internet, but
Well, I really think the internet is the biggest situation here, the biggest card that we're talking about, the thing that comes into play. Back when Peter left the band, Eric Carr would have been slagged.
Yeah.
He would. Right. People would have hated him. People would have been screaming, "A Fox? That's stupid." Why not make a cool design? That looks stupid. That's Kiss fans for you. And Vinny, I remember Kiss fans, some thinking that the Vinny makeup was stupid, and some thought it was good. But bottom line is, you can't please everybody. And there are three different things that you have to take into account. Number one, you've got Kiss's point of view on it. And in the last line of their statement, it says, "We are excited and looking forward to seeing you all on the Kiss 40th Anniversary Worldwide Tour."
Yeah, maybe that's something they ought to be excited about instead.
Well, yeah, but see, here's the thing. Kiss is an ongoing property. And Kiss has decided that they want Kiss to be represented, and to Kiss is Gene and Paul and whoever they have up there, and right now that's Tommy and Eric, and that is what it is. That's Kiss. People saying that it's imposters or whatever, that's nonsense. They're just guys wearing those costumes. They've been in the band longer now than the originals have. Yes, they've been in the band longer. You would know. You would know.
No, I wouldn't know, but I think I've heard that argument, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah. And if Kiss decides to become a three-piece band, that can happen. It worked with every other band. They can have other members come in and do whatever they want. That's the way rock and roll works, folks. No rules, remember? People like the no rules rock and roll thing until something happens that they don't like. All of a sudden.
That's a good point, because like I said, what are the Kiss rules?
Yeah.
And the same thing with the Beatles. I mean, the Beatles weren't the same band, as from the beginning, from the Ed Sullivan Show on through Sgt. Pepper's.
No.
But it wasn't the same band. I mean, a lot of things changed. You're either along for the ride or you're not, I guess.
And that's what it has to do. I think it's sad that Kiss fans have a stunted growth when it comes to what they expect from their quote-unquote heroes. And it's sad that they can't accept changes. You mentioned the Beatles. I love the Beatles, as you know.
Right.
They're my favorite band. If in the span of 6 years, they went from "I Want to Hold Your Hand" and "She Loved You" with those, what we now don't even consider long hair, right, to having the long beards and the long hair and all the weirdness and the very strange music. They went from "I Want to Hold Your Hand" to "Helter Skelter." In a span of 6 years. That would be like the Backstreet Boys becoming Slayer. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So you either like what the band's doing or you move on. And for every change that they made, more people came to the table.
Yeah, and that's why I don't know why more fans don't move on. Why do they just continue to assault and just, call names and then like on some sites where they actually go after each other Kiss fans. It's just it's crazy.
Well,
it's crazy. It's your choice to either follow the band or not follow the band.
Yeah, the Kiss Army is not a draft. It's an all-volunteer army, isn't it, Bill?
That's true, I guess, yeah.
You helped build this thing, you know what I mean?
Jay Evans came up with the statement a long time ago. He said, if you think Kiss is great, you're in the Kiss Army.
There you go.
And Jay summed it up best, because that was before there was even any membership sign-ups. So.
Well, he could have saved me $5 in 1978 then.
Well.
But he probably wouldn't have gave me those cool pictures, so.
Yeah. And by 78, we didn't even have any kind of clout to say who was paying $5 and who,
right,
you know.
Right.
But I did have some extra the kits I might have been able to spare back in '76 if you'd have known me.
Back in the day. I remember reading about you. Those were great times.
And belt buckles, too, probably.
Oh, yeah. And now, if you would have kept them all?
And I have.
You could. Oh.
Well, not like the... I mean, I kept one set for me. Let's put it that way.
Right.
I didn't keep everything.
Yeah, like there's not a Bill Starkey warehouse somewhere full
there is not. So don't contact
Thank God, because you'll be contacted night and day about it.
Yeah,
so,
can you imagine if I'd have kept some of those original KISS Army membership kits
there's your retirement.
as they were. And since they're cutting the pensions for the teachers in the state of Indiana, I need to start looking at that, right?
Right.
Gotta start thinking about the retirement, because 57, I don't know, though. I may work till I'm 70, who knows?
So, as I was saying, there are 3 different points of view that have to be taken into account that probably got us to where we are. You've got KISS, who has a band that's an ongoing property with their current lineup that they're wanting to sell a 40th anniversary worldwide tour. So this is good timing as far as Rock and Roll Hall of Fame kind of thing. But they don't want to put the other 2 guys in the makeup because it's going to dilute their product that they're going out on the road with.
That's a good point.
And had Ace and Pete been up there in the paint that they no longer own the rights to, we have to put that out, and there's a couple people that made that happen. Ace and Pete and Gene and Paul. We're going to keep coming back to that equation. So, yes, you've got that situation. So there would have been people saying, well, how come the guys that weren't there a couple weeks ago aren't on stage now? So that's definitely a problem. So let's say that they had done the unplugged thing and had them come out and do it afterwards. That brings us to our second thing. What if Pete and Ace said, no, if we're not in the paint, we're not doing it? Because I remember reading or hearing Ace on the Eddie Trunk show say something to the effect of, Tommy can be there, but I'll be in the makeup, he can be in the audience.
Wow.
So that's going to basically show you where that might have came from. So there's their point of view. And to be honest with you, it would be kind of hurtful for me if I was Ace and Pete to see somebody in my thing that I helped create.
That I came up with, right.
But it's also something that I sold, okay?
Oh, yes.
But it's kind of like an ex-wife situation, okay? You're all getting together for the wedding of your kids, right? You're sitting with your current wife, there's your ex-wife over there with her husband, and it makes for an interesting situation, but you don't throw your current wife out of the seat and say, I'm going to sit over here with my ex-wife. No, you know, so you've got that kind of a situation. Then thirdly, we have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Their position on this. They did not want KISS in there, period. KISS got in there through a loophole. If Dave Marsh and those guys would have had their way, this never, ever would have happened. Would you agree?
That's like I said, that's a different take that I never would have thought of, but I think you may be into it, because they never wanted KISS in. The only reason why KISS got in now was through public opinion, finally, and probably by the fact that people who have already been inducted have said, wait a minute, we were influenced by KISS. How can you continue to exclude them? The pressure from those 2 different factions made this happen. And maybe you're right. Maybe they didn't want this to happen. But like I said, I've watched these Hall of Fame ceremonies before and have never really cared for them. I mean, it's just, you know, I've never known any of them that I've liked. And there's other bands I've liked that I just have never cared for the way it was done or handled. I mean, I can all those bands getting up there and playing, and, you know. There
was only one really cool moment that I can ever recall seeing, and that was when Prince was playing While My Guitar Gently Weeps with Tom Petty, Donnie Harrison, and Jeff Lynne.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
And the odds of that coming off and working well.
Well, you think about it. If you were to tell somebody, look, these guys are all going to walk into a bar and play an excellent song, you're going to get what? And Prince was just cool. He owned it. He was a bad mofo, all that stuff.
Well, and that's
Patch the mash, you know.
Where he is. Yeah, I mean, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, he threw the guitar into the audience and fell into the audience. It was just so cool. But that's Prince. Not everybody is cool as Prince.
Those, you know, but then again, he doesn't have have to worry about a band situation. He's an individual artist. It's a lot different when you're dealing with four strong personalities. And then in Kiss's case, 6 or 7 strong personalities when you throw, Eric, Tommy, and Bruce into it.
And then there's the managers of all the respective parties.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not... There's just so many things that could go wrong or just, That's why maybe I'm kind of relieved that all this is done, and then all I have to deal with now is Paul and Gene going up there and getting their award, whoever's inducting them, be it Lady Gaga or Dave Grohl or whoever, and just play
Richard Simmons,
clips of the bands, and then that'll be it. And then, I didn't have high hopes for it to begin with.
I didn't either, and I want to be clear. Any other time on the podcast, my position has always been, screw the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't care. It's a place where you can go look at a few guitars, some T-shirts, and ticket stubs. Big deal. Occasionally you see some written lyrics. Again, big deal. Rock and roll is not something that should be kept behind glass, or it's a breathing, vital thing.
Oddly enough, I was there at the time I was at a Kiss show. I had time to kill at a Cleveland Kiss concert.
You were dressed to kill
with my
and time to kill.
And it just didn't impress me. I mean, oddly enough, I liked the architecture of the building and where it was located right there on the lake. But when I went in there, you could tell that there was something empty. There was something missing there.
Absolutely.
So, maybe I'm just kind of glad all this is over with, and, that's it. And then Ace and Peter can go on and do whatever they do, and Kiss can go on with the 40th anniversary tour.
Well, we played Ace's thing. We listened to a couple clips from Paul and read the Kiss statement, so it's only fair to read Peter's. Peter Criss writes, to Kiss fans, it's disappointing to have to say to you, the fans, that as of today, Ace and I have been denied a performance with Gene and Paul for our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. Tickets go on sale Monday, February 24th, and I've wanted to make sure that fans understood that no original performance in or out of makeup has been offered to us before they purchase their tickets. That is disgraceful, and I feel bad for the fans who are looking forward to the 4 of us being inducted together. God bless, Peter Criss, the Cat Man.
I didn't end the song yet. Just like that.
So who do you think's more disappointed by this, Ace and Peter or Gene and Paul?
Well, Gene and Paul are in the driver's seat as far as what Kiss is going to do. So I don't think they really give a crap, especially since Paul's pretty much flipped him the bird in his own way.
Well, if Ace and Peter really, truly wanted to go, wouldn't you think they would do everything they could possibly do?
You would think, but here...
to make this work.
Yeah, well then let me ask you this, Bill. What would have been... How would you have liked to seen it happen? Let's pretend that it's the night of the event. The curtains part and they induct Kiss. Somebody comes out, some huge celebrity like Lady Gaga or Dave Grohl or Richard Simmons or somebody, And I threw that last one in there as a joke. But they come out, the curtain parts, and they go, ladies and gentlemen, you wanted the best, you got the best, Kiss. What do you see on the stage?
I see the 4 originals without makeup now.
All right.
Without makeup, with Bruce, Tommy, and Eric. Also without makeup, of course. And that would be the way I would settle it.
Very good.
I mean, that's the way I would. But if the hall does not allow Bruce, Tommy, and Eric up there, which is ridiculous, but that goes back to your belief that maybe the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame didn't want to see this happen anyway. But that's probably the way I would have settled it. That way there's no makeup issue, and it wouldn't be hard, music-wise to come up with something that they could all agree on.
Right, and I'll slip into the Gene thing. At the end of the day, Kiss is not about a spaceman and a star child and a demon and a cat. and an Ankh warrior and a fox. It's about some musicians, some real people that gave us some good memories, and some good music, and some not so good music, and some not so good memories. But all of that aside, they're real people. And if anyone were to ask me how I thought it could go down, Bill?
Yes?
You going to ask me how I think it should go down?
How do you think it should go down?
Oh, thanks for...
You're any different than what I was thinking.
Thank you for asking me. I would say that in order to please Gene and Paul, they should have allowed them to do 2 songs with the current lineup. Then they bring out Ace, Pete, and Bruce. Gene and Paul raise up Ace his hands and say, these guys built this band. They deserve to be here tonight. We'll always be brothers, even if we don't always get along, whatever. And Bruce Kulick, we have the memory of Eric Carr, and boom, they all do Rock and Roll All Night together. It would be nice.
Yeah.
Sadly, nice doesn't always work in this world.
No. As a guitar player, it would be very cool for me to see Bruce and Tommy and Ace as a threesome up there, because that's something that even the Unplugged show didn't have.
Yeah.
And it would be cool to see them trade off solos and stuff like that. As a guitar player, that's just me, And it would be even funnier. Could you imagine if they picked a non-Kiss song to play?
Oh, that would be killer. But what do you think they'd pick?
Well, I don't know. They've always done... Didn't they always do other...
Led Zeppelin?
I wouldn't say that they wouldn't do Won't Get Fooled Again, but...
Oh, that'd be
a Led
awesome.
Zeppelin tune or something that they would all play. That way, nobody steps on anybody's feet.
Right. But, of course, Paul would have to do Rock and Roll Night because it is the rock and roll national anthem. So
It is, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But if it could have worked out without, and again... There would be people that wouldn't be happy with what I would have. They would expect it to be a makeup thing, but I just, one of my favorite Kiss shows was the one that they played Unplugged back in the mid-'90s without makeup on bar stools with Bruce and Eric. It was just because it was so different.
Right.
And it was the same Kiss tunes I liked in the 70s, but done differently. So, I'm just, maybe that's the way I'm different. I don't believe in those set rules that Kiss has to look like this, or Kiss has to sound like this, or this has to be done, or that has to be done. To me, Kiss is like a, it's evolving and changing, and, much like it's changed with the 2 new guys in the band, who really aren't, I shouldn't call them new, but,
yeah.
The latest members, let me put it that way.
Yeah. The newest wives.
The newest wives.
There you go.
And, and it may be the last wives.
Do you think that we'll ever see one final Kiss show? Now, I'm not saying listen, we know, and I'm not trying to bum anyone out in the room, but eventually all humans run out of their warranty date, and we all have to be returned,
When
I
see Mick Jagger and those guys up there at 70, I do sometimes kind of think, and I go back to, let's see, Gene 60, 63, Paul's, do we have like 7 more years of, but the Stones haven't stopped.
Right.
But what Kiss does, as far as how much effort they put forth, is a lot different than what Charlie Watts' effort is. So, maybe, I don't know. I just wonder how long it will be before we see Kiss 2.0,
Well, yeah, you're right. The weird thing is that I think that a lot of Kiss fans seem to want closure. Like, they want the last Kiss show. They want, I want the 4 originals, and then it ends, and it's done. I've got news for you, folks. It's never going to happen. Because as long as Gene and Paul are alive, they don't know anything else to do. I was watching Cheap Trick play on the Guitar Center's sessions.
I saw that, too.
And it was so bizarre because they're in a room with an interviewer, cameraman, and sound guys, and a director, right?
Right.
And Rick, the lead guitarist, is running around the stage throwing pics at people that aren't there, And when it comes up to time to do his bit in Dream Police, he's making people clap that aren't there. And they're putting on the full Cheap Trick show to an audience that isn't there but sitting at home. But these guys are in their 60s, and Gene and Paul kind of do the same thing. You get the Kiss shtick. You get the show. Right. This is what they know to do. This is how they know to do it. You know, people complain that, you know, you can't teach an old dog new trick. Maybe the line should be that you can't teach an old rock band new tricks. I don't know, but
or cheap tricks.
Yeah, cheap tricks, one or the other. But but it's really strange, you know. So these guys are going to do what they do until they can't. And I really think a lot of it has to do with ego and just proving that they can keep doing it, you know. And why stop something that you enjoy and something that pays you crazy? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't know. So, but I don't think there's going to be one final Kiss show where people are going to get that closure that they want. Kiss will continue to live on past this band, whether you like it or not.
People that really want that closure. I mean, I don't know.
What was that?
A lot of times bands closures happen when it's not predicted. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, see, that's the thing. Like, for people who wanted that final show with the originals, they've kind of already had that.
Yeah.
The reunion tour was it. Whether you like it or not.
I don't know about you, but I wasn't real happy with that.
Why was that?
I just didn't think the performance was up to Kiss standards.
Please elaborate.
Well, I just felt that Ace was somewhat sloppy. I thought Peter's drums were definitely not the Peter Criss that I had grown up listening to.
The Animal.
And it was just not a fair representation of the way I wanted new people who had seen the band or experienced the band or who were going to experience the band. It's not what I wanted them to hear and see. So, I mean, I'll stick by that. I was not real thrilled with the reunion tour. I was, you know, it just wasn't up to my standards as a Kiss fan.
Please send all your complaints to Bill Starkey, care of the podcast.
Yeah, I think I've said that before. And you know, what am I going to... no more backstage passes? I don't know. I'm just saying...
well, if you Bill, if you want more backstage passes, you got to wear smaller skirts. That's all I can tell you.
No, whatever.
And now on NBC Saturday Night at the Movies, Kiss meets the Phantom.
Hi, everybody. This is Lisa Jane Persky, Dirty D from Kiss Meets the Phantom at the Park, and I'd like to say hi to everyone around the world, in Australia, in Japan, in Malmo. Is anyone in Malmo? And I hope everybody's happy to listen to Podkisst.
So here we are. So is the Kiss Army dead? In summation, is the Kiss Army dead?
Not only is the Kiss Army alive and well, the Kiss Army will probably outlive Kiss itself.
Yep. So
that's coming from me.
The founder.
Right.
One of the founders of the Kiss Army. One of the founders of the Kiss Army.
Commander-in-Chief.
Exactly. Well, thank you for being on the show, and welcome to the Podkisst staff.
Yeah, I guess so. Thank you for having me. It was
you
very
poor
easy.
guy, you.
Wow. If you can't get a good laugh out of this, then you shouldn't be doing it anyways.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, here's some advice, Kiss Army. If you're going to burn your Kiss Army draft cards, make sure not to burn your fingers. And if you can't laugh at this band, a band where 60-year-old guys are wearing, what's the line? More makeup and higher heels than your mom. Yeah. You're really taking the wrong things in life way too serious.
And singing love songs to their members.
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
It's very cool.
And if you're not enjoying Kiss, find some other band to enjoy.
Absolutely. There's all kinds of other bands out there. Just don't populate the message boards and all that.
Yeah.
You know,
there's no room for negativity.
There's no debate. I don't know how many times I've had to be with people say, do you think it's right for this and that? Well, there's no rules in this anymore. I mean, you know.
Exactly.
You either enjoy it or you don't.
Here's how you should feel about Kiss. Love 'em, leave 'em, love 'em. Anyhow. All right, well, it's good talking to you, Bill, and we will see you soon. And Kiss Army, don't burn your fingers.
Or your face.
Yeah. And, you know, to be honest with you, this whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we might be shocked by the end of this. They might pull the curtain back and there's the band playing. So who the hell knows? That's one thing we've learned to expect with Kiss. Never say never, and you just never know. So have fun and enjoy the day, Kiss Army.
Absolutely.
And keep podcasting.
And that is our show. Thanks again for listening. Be sure to check us out on the web at www.podkisst.com. You can also find us on Facebook and on iTunes.
If you'd like to contact the Podkist, please drop us a line at podkist@gmail.com.
Big thanks to Julian and everyone at kissfaq.com. They've got great information there and a terrific message board, too.
Thanks also to Keith LaRue and everyone else at Kiss Online for their great work representing the hottest band in the land.
And as always, a big thanks to Paul Stanley,
Gene Simmons,
Ace Frehley,
Peter Criss,
Vinnie Vincent,
Bruce Kulick,
Eric Singer,
Tommy Thayer,
and the memory of the late great Eric Carr,
and the late great Mark St. John.
You are Kiss,
and we are your army.
Podkisst is created by the Kiss Army for the Kiss Army, and it is available for free as an internet download. If you like what you hear on our show, go buy it and support the people who made it. Podkisst is not affiliated with KISS or any of its members past or present. On behalf of myself, Ken, and the whole rest of the Podkisst crew, thank you for listening to Podkisst, the KISS fanzine for your ears. I